Good afternoon. So today we're going to tackle about Suggestopedia together with my group mates Beverly Ariola, Florentina Victoria Barry, Trixie Mutin, and yours truly, Rubel Nona. As we go along with this topic, we're going to encounter the six principal theoretical components through the suggestion and suggestion. Second is the types of learning and teaching activities, and lastly, the procedure and conclusion. Before that, let me give you a brief definition of Suggestopedia. Suggestopedia is an innovative teaching method developed by Bulgarian psychologist Georgy Lazanov in 1970s. It aims to create a relaxed and positive learning environment that maximizes the potential of learners by incorporating various sensory elements. Here are some background ideas related to Suggestopedia. First is the positive learning environment. Suggestopedia emphasizes creating a positive and comfortable atmosphere for learning. The learning environment should be free from stress and anxiety, promoting a sense of relaxation and confidence among learners. Second is the use of music. Music plays a significant role in Suggestopedia. It is believed that carefully selected background music can help create a harmonious learning environment, reduce tension, and stimulate the brain for better retention and recall the information. Third is the role of the teacher. In Suggestopedia, the teacher assumes a facilitator role rather than a traditional instructor. The teacher is responsible for creating a positive and supportive atmosphere, selecting appropriate materials, and guiding the learner process. Next is the use of elaborate materials. Suggestopedia employs specially designed materials that are aesthetically pleasing and engaging. These materials may include colorful visuals, richly illustrated text, and multimedia resources with the aim of capturing learners' attention and enhancing their receptive to the content. Next is the role play and dramatization. Suggestopedia incorporates role play and dramatization techniques to create a dynamic and immersive learning experience. Learners may engage in various interactive activities such as dialogue, simulations, and skits to practice language skills in a realistic context. Lastly is the use of positive suggestions. Suggestopedia involves the use of positive suggestions to enhance learning. These suggestions are delivered by the teacher and are aimed at boosting learners' confidence, motivation, and overall learning outcomes. These background ideas provide a glimpse into the principle and elements that form the foundation of Suggestopedia as a teaching method. They highlight the beliefs in learners' potential, the importance of a conductive learning environment, and the integration of sensory and emotional factors in the learning process.
Now let's discuss the theory of learning. Suggestion is at the heart of Suggestopedia. Lozanov claims that what distinguishes his method from hypnosis and other forms of mind control is that these lack the suggestive sense and fail to create a constant setup to reserve through concentrative cycle relaxation. This suggestion appears to involve removing undesirable and obstructive memories from memory banks or reserves, while suggestion include putting desirable and helpful memories in the memory banks. Now let's discuss the six principal theoretical components through which desuggestion and suggestion operate and that set up access to reserves. Number one, we have authority. Information from authoritative sources is remembered best and has the greatest impact. Lozanov issues a series of orders and directives intended to make Suggestopedia students view educational system and the teacher as authoritative sources. Number two, infantilization. Authority is also used to imply relationship between a teacher and student, similar to a father and a child. In the child's role, the learner takes part in role-playing, games, songs, and dynamic exercises that set up or that help other students to regain self-confidence, spontaneity, and receptivity of the child. Number 3, double plainness. The environment in which the instruction is delivered also has impact on the learner's ability to retain information. The bright decor of the classroom, the musical background, the shape of the chairs, and the personality of the teacher are considered as important as in instruction as the form of instructional material itself. Now we have number 4, 5, and 6, the intonation, rhythm, and concerto passiveness. Both intonation and rhythm are coordinated with musical background. The musical background helps to produce a relaxed mood, which Lozanov referred to as concerto passiveness. The state is felt to be optimal for learning, and in that stress and anxiety are reduced. So, as well as the ability to focus on the new information is increased. Because the role of music is important or essential in Suggestopedia learning, it needs to be considered in somewhat more detail.
Today we will tackle about the types of learning and teaching activities. To create a comfortable and dynamic learning environment, Suggestopedia integrates a number of teaching and learning activities. These exercises are designed to actively engage students, support language learning, and improve all aspects of learning. The type of activities that are more original to Suggestopedia are the listening activities, which concern to the text and text vocabulary of each unit. Examples are role plays and dialogues. Role plays and dialogues are regularly utilized to motivate students to have real-world talks in order to practice language use in the context and improve their speaking and listening skills. Learners take on different roles and participate in planned or spontaneous dialogues. Another example is reading and listening comprehension. Suggestopedia includes a lot of reading and listening exercises. In a relaxing setting, language learners read text or listen to audio recordings of language materials. These exercises are meant to enhance language understanding generally, as well as reading fluency and listening comprehension. These activities are typically part of the pre-session phase, which take place on the first day of a new unit. The students first look at and discuss a new text with the teacher. In the second reading, students relax comfortably in reclining chairs and listen to the teacher read the text in a certain way. During the third reading, the material is acted out by the instructor in a dramatic manner over a background of the special musical form described previously. During the phase, students lean back in their chairs and breathe deeply and regularly as instructed by the teacher. This is the point at which Lozanov believes that unconscious learning system takes over. There are two kinds of people who plays a vital role in learning and teaching activities, and these are the learner and the teacher. Learner roles. In Suggestopedia, learners play an active role in the learning process. They are considered capable individuals with innate potential for language acquisition. The mental state of the learners is critical to success, which is why learners must forego mind-altering substances and other distraction and immerse themselves in the procedures of the method. Learners must not try to figure out, manipulate, or study the material presented, but must maintain a pseudo-passive state in which the material rolls over and through them. Students are expected to tolerate and encourage their own infantilization and by acknowledging the authority of the teacher and giving themselves over the activities, such as role-playing, games, song, and gymnastic exercises. They are also given a new name and personal history in the target culture. Another one is the teacher roles. The primary role of the teacher is to create situations in which the learner most suggestible and then to present linguistics in a way most likely to encourage positive reception and retention by the learner. Luzanov lists several expected teacher behaviors that contribute to those presentations. First is to show absolute confidence in the method. Second is to display fastidious conduct in manners and dress. Third is organize properly and strictly observe the initial stages of the teaching process. This includes choice and play of music as well as punctuality. Fourth, maintain a solemn attitude towards the session. Fifth is give tests and respond tactfully to poor papers, if any. Six, stress global rather than analytical attitudes towards materials. And lastly, maintain a modest enthusiasm. Luzanov 1978 as Tevik 1976 point out that teachers must be prepared to be initiated into the method by stages, and that the role of instructional materials consists of direct and indirect support materials. The text should have emotional force, literary quality, and interesting characters. And language problems should be introduced in a way that does not distract students from the content. The learning environment plays a central role in Suggestopedia, including the appearance of the classroom, furniture, and music. The role of instructional materials. Instructional materials plays a significant role in facilitating the learning process and creating a rich and immersive learning environment. The learning environment in Suggestopedia is composed of direct and indirect support materials, including the text, tape, classroom fixtures, and music. The text should have emotional force, literary quality, and interesting characters, and language problems should be introduced in a way that does not distract students. The instructional materials in Suggestopedia are carefully selected and designed to create an immersive and supportive learning environment. They aim to stimulate the learner's imagination, creativity, and receptivity while also providing meaningful and relevant content for language and content learning.
I am Trixie Martin from Baal 3F, and I'm going to talk all about procedure or steps to conduct Suggestopedia classes, and also the conclusion of Suggestopedia. So, procedure. 3 steps or procedure to conduct Suggestopedia classes. First part might be called the oral review section. The previous materials that were used will be the basis of the discussion. Students will sit in a circle and the discussion will be like a seminar. On this part, it will include micro studies and macro studies. Micro studies means or refers to short-term studies or smaller scale research investigations that explore of the effects of Suggestopedia. It focuses on grammar, vocabulary, and precise questions and answers. Examples of questions will be: what should one do in a hotel room if the bathroom taps are not working? Or what will be the response of a teacher if students are not working with their assigned tasks, and what would be the effect of it? Wherein the answers for these questions will help students to construct their grammar and vocabulary effectively. While macro studies refers to larger scale research that examines the overall effectiveness and impact of Suggestopedia as a teaching strategy. It is based on role playing and winder raging, innovative constructions. So, example question with macro studies will be: describe to someone the Buyana Church. Meaning of this is one of Bulgaria's most well-known medieval churches. This would be an example of a request for information. So let's go to the second part. In this part, new material is presented and discussed. This will be about reading over a fresh dialogue in both original language and translated, and we'll talk about any grammatical, vocabulary, or topic issues that the instructor deems important or students may be interested in. Students are guided to experience the knowledge that working with a new material is interesting and doesn't require any more effort or to worry about. The pattern of this learning would be fixation, reproduction, and new creative production. Let's move on to the third part. So on third part, this part will be the scenes or concert sessions. This session is based on Luzanov as to how this session proceeds. So according to him, the teacher listens to music from a tape recorder for the first few minutes of class, then reads or recites the new material. There are several minutes of silence between the first and second halves of the concert, and the students close their textbooks and listen to the teacher's reading. They are not asked to do any homework on the lesson. So that would be all under the steps or the procedure to conduct Suggestopedia classes. Let's move on to the next part, which is the conclusion of Suggestopedia. So, conclusion. Suggestopedia, developed by Bulgarian psychiatrist and educator Georgy Luzanov in the 1970s, is an unconventional teaching method that aims to enhance learning by creating a positive and relaxed learning environment. While the effectiveness of Suggestopedia has been a topic of debate among educators and researchers, this can be possible conclusion to each part of Suggestopedia. So the story on Suggestopedia probably constituted the single largest promotion of foreign language teaching ever. So Suggestopedia also promoted foreign language teaching, receiving a critical review in the Seoul Quarterly. Suggestopedia is introduced to students in the text of a the suggestive ritual placebo system. And the task of suggestopedic leader is to determine which system carries the most authority. So, in conclusion, Suggestopedia offers an alternative approach to traditional teaching methods, focusing on creating a positive and relaxed learning environment and incorporating arts and culture into the learning process. While some educators and learners have reported positive experiences with Suggestopedia, more comprehensive and rigorous research is needed to be established its efficacy compared to other teaching methodologies. So that will be all about Suggestopedia. Thank you very much and have a great day.